everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the global guided meditation call for Friday, December 20, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tonight. We're going to uncover several things that are being thrown out there recently and diffuse them. Now, all of us have this, I guess you could call it a ego armor. And taking it off can be pretty tricky. Because any moment that our mind gets derailed and goes down the dark path of frustration, victim story, fear, or complaining, you gotta just stop it immediately and switch back to the gratitude track. Now, it can be easy as asking yourself, what's the one thing that I'm grateful for right now? This is how we stop a lot of things. It works 99.999% of the time. And the good news is that there is always at least one thing that we can be grateful for, no matter what is happening in our lives. Could be anything. Perhaps it's that you have the power to imagine a new you, your health, good friend, or just that you're still breathing. Now, for others, it can be very challenging because we're kind of stuck in there, okay? And we're in habit. So when you go down these low frequencies and you're upset, or you got a victim story, or you're stressed out, or you're worried, or something, it has a tendency, the mind has a tendency, the ego mind, to kind of take us over. And a lot of times we spiral down. But when we can say to ourselves, okay, got this going on. I really don't care to be immersed in it. So what is it? What's one thing that I can actually identify for myself that I can be grateful for? It could be anything, okay? And once you turn that corner and you're able to do that, you do move yourself into the habit of every single time, just about, when you have this stuff come in. None of us are exempt from it because we have this stuff come in. And we know that it's the stuff coming in. We know it's from the ego mind. Then we can stop it right in its tracks by shifting our attention on the one thing at that very moment that we are deeply grateful for. It will shift it. It's absolute about that. Most of us don't know that. Most of us will be sucked into the ego mind's insecurities and fears and all the rest of it. And then the danger of that is that where we focus our attention for any length of period of time, we create it. So that's another avenue to tell ourselves, do I really want to go down that road? It's not like any of us are rookies at it. We've done it for lifetimes. So it's like, no, I'm going to focus on what I'm grateful for. And see, only you can do that. Nothing outside of you is going to do that. Only you is going to do that. Ego mind does the opposite, see? And you know that. So when you look at that and you have these things come in, right? And a lot of the times they come in and it's not like it's not like you're saying, oh, come on in, doors open. But then you have the awareness to say, okay, I know what's going on here. I'm shifting into gratitude. Period. And it changes things instantaneously. Now you wonder why the majority of us aren't there all the time. The ego mind's a tricky little fella. You know, it pulls a lot of tricks on us. And it's, you know, we heard this where we say, you know, there's always a silver lining around the dark clouds in your life. And a lot of people go, oh yeah, that's great to say right now, but look what's happening right now. Where's the silver lining? And see, this doesn't take a lot of work. I think a lot of people think that this is, you know, really arduous and it takes a lot of work and effort, and it doesn't. But it does take one thing, more awareness. And see, it's our natural state of being. It isn't our unnatural state of being. See, the ego, believe it or not, the ego mind is our unnatural state of being. And when we shift gears, we go in the opposite direction of higher vibrational frequencies, we connect with our natural essence and pure consciousness within. That's when we connect with it. We can see the needs to be learned like juggling cantaloupe, so to speak. It's as easy as taking a fresh breath of air. It's kind of like our number one priority, to be aware of our gratitude. And notice how much it is already a part of our lives and what it will feel like to bathe in it 24 hours a day. Now, years ago, I did I got groups of people. I networked a bunch of people I didn't know. I'll put it that way. And I got them mostly in the spiritual communities, right? And we all walks of life. And I got them to come to a gathering every Wednesday night. And it was quite interesting. And we would start, not a lot, it wasn't ever a lot, it was maybe 10, 12, 15 people. And well, so we would start off, we would launch our gathering with every one of us, each of us would go around the round table, and we would, you know, share what it was we were grateful for that day. It's quite interesting what people, you know, would share on their gratitude for what they were grateful for. And we did that for years. These gatherings didn't last for a few months and then dismiss. It went on for years. And some of the people still have them because it felt so good to get in that group every Wednesday night and to go around, and then we would do other things and interact and share. But that would be our initial launch of each gathering. And what it does is it shifts you into an entirely different perspective. It's like loving yourself and everything else shifts you into a different perspective. Now, doing that for the ego mind, that's a real humdinger. It isn't going to play out. where you say, I love myself, I love everything around me. And this helps us to practice through the heart-mind. It helps us to practice in the now, being in the now. See, it's always about practice. It's always about us. It's not just a meditation. It's that through the course of the day, in the evening, night, morning, we practice this. You know why? Because we choose to. It's not like, where the ego mind comes in, you feel guilty, I better do this, right? No, it's because you're motivated to do it. Because of it's exuberating to immerse yourself into higher frequencies. It's a whole different way of being. And only you can do it. See, I think people believe that, some people, that they can, do these other things off here and off there and off here, other than what they know works. And as a people of this planet, a species, a civilization, billions of gods and bodies experiencing physical material life, doesn't it make sense that we have spent eons incarnating into physical material forms, but not ever discovering who and what we are? Isn't that amazing? And one might say, well, what would happen if you discover who and what you are? You probably would not really incarnate that many times. And this transition of this planet and civilization is humongous because it is not temporary from the perspective that some of us on this planet are choosing to move ourselves in a higher vibrational frequency by being higher vibrational frequency through the communication and the embracing and deep eternal love we have for the gods that we are in these bodies of pure consciousness. And by doing that, it sends a cascading effect over the civilization, and it affects everything and everyone. Now, it may not seem like it, but it does. It is super powerful. And it's not like we're intending, it's just that we're doing. We're moving into heart-mindedness and more. We are not really engaging ourselves in the fringe areas which contain the lower vibrational frequencies. The worry, the stress, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, the disappointment, all of that. It's not there. And I've said numerous times, this isn't our first rodeo. We've done this so many times. And now we've decided to shift gear as a collective. But we're going to experience a new earth, a different existence than we have been for the last several million years. We just don't care to do that anymore, which is our prerogative as the gods that we are. We're going to do it. We're going to do the other side of it. And the other side, see, we've got a lot to compare. We have so many things that we can compare to. It's like good, evil, right? Hate, love, trust, dishonest. All these things, because we've been in it so long. And it's making more and more sense to us is that we want to know who we are in these bodies. Okay? And we want to know it fully, completely, not superficially, not half-ass, but all the way. And we want to experience what it's like. to have the exposure of existing in physical material form and high spiritual state. Because in that state, everything is completely, absolutely different. Period. In a really good way. And it's always by choice. It's like every morning few minutes, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, every morning you practice being this silent, still, frozen statue inside. And then you become the grand observer who watches all mental activity and outer storms pass on by. And with your eyes closed, you can watch each thought that comes in like you were watching a cloud pass by. Now, you do not judge or interact with that thought. You simply become the observer and you continue to watch it. And it becomes wrapped up in your thoughts. You simply notice what has happened and you go back to watching each thought. And the more often you practice being physically still, the more you will naturally feel calm and centered, no matter what type of inner or outer storm is brewing. Now, if you said to somebody, do you know that you have the power within you to manifest all the wealth you could possibly imagine? What would they say to you? Well, we know probably they'd roll their eyes and think that you were a Fruit Loop. Okay? They would just go, okay, sure. That's the belief mechanism that's been embedded in this civilization for a very long time. And it's deeply embedded, deeply seated. So it's pretty good, right? It's a pretty good chance that we'll negate just about any of that. And we make ourselves the opposite of manifestors. And but see, it's a choice. We all have it. Every one of us. It's not like, oh, you know, these people over here have it. We don't. They do. I wish I had it. Don't you got? Yeah, I wish I had it. We all have it. We just don't know how to use it. Isn't that crazy? So we spend our lives in the ego mind, worry, stressing, and fearing, and always believing that it's like we only have what we have. And we must settle for that. See, there's no settling. Really isn't. And now again, I remind everybody that this is heart mind, not ego mind. See, ego mind is want. And it's temporarily satisfied, and it's always a want. And you notice that by watching and observing on this planet. That's pretty apparent. It's pretty darned apparent. What would happen? Well, let's just say what will happen, do we know? When all money vanishes from this planet. Wow, won't that be interesting? Because you've got so many people tied up in their ego mind. The only reason any of us suffer on this planet is because of ego mind. That's the only reason we suffer. It's the only reason we're disappointed. It's the only reason where we feel let down about something, because we've attached ourselves and we have built expectations off of what we want to have happen for ourselves. And then when it doesn't happen, most of the time it doesn't happen. we suffer. Now, some of us are beginning to figure that out, that everything about our lives, every one of us, the whole shebang is what we create. That's it. Period. It's what we create. Now, do we grasp that? Oh, maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. I don't believe that we have a whole bunch of people that really fully embrace that. Because again, it's a trust issue with ourselves, a belief, faith, a trust, a confidence through heart-mindedness about ourselves. You see, that's where we talk about going within and staying within as much as you can, so that can be shifted. And that we can open the coffers up whenever we choose, and the abundance comes rolling in. And because we've had this incessant ego-mind-driven society for so very long, it's very difficult to see the forest through the trees. It really is, because all most of us have ever known is what we've been told in this life. And it's up to us to choose which things we choose for ourselves to believe. And have you ever noticed that most of the time you'll decide that you're going to believe something, that somebody has said, and you to yourself say, "Well, I'm going to believe that. I believe that." And then you reflect and say, how much do I trust myself, and how much do I believe in myself? Do I necessarily need to believe things that I'm told, or do I create the things through my heart-mindedness that I desire for me? It's like you go within in heart-mindedness, and you usually can tell what vibrates the best for you. Now, you're not judging, you're not condemning anything, but you look at it from the outside perspective and you say, that doesn't really vibrate well with me. And you look into that and to see why it doesn't vibrate well with you. It could be something that you detect in another being that might remind you of some part of you that you say, I'm not comfortable with that. Okay. Without further exploration. You can you turn around and say, or it can be something that the vibrational frequency that they put out, and you're listening, and you say to yourself, I don't feel right with that. I don't feel good with that. I mean, I'm not talking, verbally, but you say it to yourself. I don't feel good. I don't feel good with that. And this is about knowing you. And then when you say, remember, you're not judging. You're not judging them. You're not judging yourself. And your childlike curiosity comes out and says, why is that not resonating with me? Is there anything in there with this being that is emitting this frequency that is distasteful for me? And it all starts with you. It all starts with you. It starts with you believing you trusting you having confidence in you, and faith. It all starts with you. You lay the groundwork for you. You build the foundation for you. And once you have this intimate relationship with yourself, it's a whole different ballgame. So you interact with other people. Now, see, you're not judging them from ego mind. You're observing. You're a spectator. You're a watcher. You're just observing. And you're looking at certain things that you might gravitate to, and then you look at other things that you don't gravitate to. It is always about a relationship. It's the relationship that you establish with yourself and the God that you are, on how everything rolls out in your life. Because doesn't it make a lot of sense, once you know that you've chosen to master your thoughts, and you know what that's about, and you've also chosen to leave the mind and ego alone as much as you can, so that you can learn from it, and then eventually master it. See, all this is super powerful, because it shifts and changes the vibrational frequencies of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It changes the vibrational frequencies of the planet. It changes the vibrational frequencies of all that there is here. It changes, it shifts it. One might ask, what would happen if the majority of us on this planet, right, we're all on the same page? We mostly operated from our heart minds. We were mastering our thoughts, and we were learning from our ego minds to instead of being the ego mind being our masters, it becomes our servant. What do you think would happen? Do you think any of this would be going on? No, it wouldn't. Not even close. Not anywhere near this big hoopla dog and pony show. It wouldn't. What would it be like? In the quiet time of this meditation, as you were relaxed into the body, you're in a comfortable position, you're focused on your breath rising and falling, and you're as still as can be. And you listen. We would cohabitate in an environment that was blissful all the time. Doesn't mean that, we wouldn't be experiencing. Just means that we would be blissful. And I'll tell you what, we're way overdue from being in a blissful state on a regular basis. And so you view the planet, you view it as, remember, not as a judge, but as a spectator or a watcher or observer. And you're just watching as things transpire, and slowly but surely more and more start shifting based upon their own decisions, right? And so then they become much more immersed into who and what they are within. Our happiness, our joy, our bliss, all of it, our peace, tranquility, benevolence, is within us. Always has been. We have this perspective that we have to go seek it out there, or we'll get it through another. And it's always within us. You're happy and blissful most of the time. Let's just say you're happy and blissful most of the time. You have a really solid comprehension of who and what you are, that you're a God, pure consciousness within that body. That you're not your name, you're not the body, you're not your possessions, you're not your status. You're the God, the pure consciousness within that body. And you know that you can choose anything that you desire or want and make it be. You manifest it into being. The universe is right there to move it into reality. Remember, you're the universe is you. Doesn't matter how it appears, this illusion of separation. And it's interesting because we're all fully capable of shifting everything in our lives with one thought. See, the manifestation isn't out there, it's within you. It comes to you. And this is why we talk about you having 100% confidence, 100% faith, and 100% trust in yourself in this universe, no matter what. And I'm not talking about being adamant about it, but through the heart-mindedness, you just know. You know when you send out something in that state, in meditation, it's going to manifest. Period. And it isn't, you're not, see, here's where the trust comes in. You're not concerned about when, where, how, or any of that. You just know that it is being manifested. Period. It could be health, it could be about your body, it could be about anything. It doesn't always have to be some type of an object. And what we have, okay, is, what is it? The wealth factor on this planet, how it's perceived. But there's one very important thing to comprehend, is that money is just pure divine energy. It is divine God source in every atom and molecule in this universe. So it is definitely found in those electrons in your bank account. When you realize that it is truly pure conscious energy, it will form into whatever you want it to be. So you imagine that you're best friends with it, and what does this relationship feel like for you? You say, how do I feel about this? See what it takes to receive your best friend's trust in you and your trust in them. Is there anybody that you can say to yourself that you truly trust them? And there's not even a smidgen of doubt. It's you truly trust them. That's a big question, isn't it? And if there isn't anybody, then there isn't anybody. And then you turn to you and say, how much do I trust myself? Trust myself 100%. You become best friends with you, with this universe, in any form of energy that you choose. So money on this planet's energy. Right? Energy is constantly moving, flowing, undulating. It's not and it's really interesting because it's how you perceive things and what you believe on how you're going to create them, on how it's going to be created. Whatever it may be. A God planet, paradise, earth. Great wealth, abundance. Happiness, joy, bliss, tranquility, peace. That's why it's all about you. join you in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. When any negative feeling like anger, sadness, despair, grief, depression, or guilt arises, just sit with it. Allow it to come into your body fully. Give it full permission to enter you. This way, you become the master of it, instead of it taking you hostage and owning you. Giving your feelings space and time to be fully experienced will empower you completely. Have you ever done it? When you allow a feeling and experience to enter your body in the rawest form, without the story attached to the feeling, you bring a deeper, more grounded energy into your body and mind. You become more present, alive, less controlling, fear-based, and more juicy as a human being. Do not dwell on them or the story. Just allow each feeling and sensation to flow through. With patience and curiosity, you will soon discover a deeper peace that abides at your very core. You truly become the master of your emotional life when you can feel all your feelings and enjoy them all. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here tonight, Friday, December 20th, 2024, at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, December 21, 2024. After 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in